Hey guys, welcome to episode 3 of Tutorial Time. In today's episode, we are going to be tackling spackling. If you are looking for episode 4, which is the spackling episode of the dining room series, it's linked below.
Hamdyman!
So in episode 3 of Tutorial Time, we are going to get into spackling the ceiling. This is going to get really detailed with what you want your spackle to look like, what to do with your patching trowels, how to hold them, if you're going to be doing this kind of work on walls or on the ceiling, all kinds of stuff. So get ready for this ride, because it's going to be crazy. In the spackling episode, there's only a couple of things you need. 1, patching trowels. The second thing you need, spackle. They also have like this quick cement stuff, or this quick spackle stuff that's like a 20-minute prep where you add water and the powder. That stuff is okay for beginners or people that don't want to mix. This stuff is great. One of the things that you want to do, it says on here that you don't need to like pre-mix. What I like to do is just take your 4-inch patching trowel and kind of like mix it around. It's going to look like cottage cheese a little bit. Before you do each set of spackling, just mix it around and I'll show you the consistency that you want once I get it there. If any of you have ever seen or made a cake, this is kind of the consistency that you want. You don't want to see any lumps. It's fairly smooth, but now it's like easier to work with. If you scoop it up, it should be able to fall off, but it shouldn't get stuck really easily, but it shouldn't fall off super easy either. And that took about a minute. This is the consistency you want. Spoiler warning, for anybody who doesn't like the sound of metal on anything, just skip ahead because this is going to be agonizing for you. The reason why I said 2 is because you're going to be cleaning your patching trowels constantly. So if you've never worked with this spackling stuff before, I want you to like pick up a goop of it like this and scrape it onto your 6-inch like this. And I want you to scrape it off and do that about 10 times. And the reason why I want you to do it 10 times is so that you can kind of feel how the spackle is going to be laid on your patching trowel and how to get it on and get it on clean every time. Okay, I know this is kind of hard to see, but there are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 holes. 12 holes in the wall here, because the previous owner was like, hey, let's hang a bunch of stuff, but let's not care where the holes are. I'm gonna try to show you how to do this on the wall before the ceiling, because the concept is the same. So what you wanna do is get about that much on your 6-inch patching trowel. Not a lot, just enough, and try to keep it as much in the middle as you can. Now I'm just gonna scrape this because I want it to be as flat as possible. Alright, so what you want to do, this is similar to how you're supposed to hold when you scrape. So instead of using one finger with your hand like this, how I showed you in the scraping of the popcorn ceiling video, episode 2, linked below. So instead of one finger, what you want to do is you want to take your index finger and move it over just a little bit and bring your second finger, your middle finger, just next to it. That way, when you push, you get a more even push down, since instead of scraping through, we're actually scraping back, and we need it to be as even as possible. Now the first layer is just to get everything on. You just want it thick, really thick. You take your patching trowel, the extra stuff, you take it off so it's nice and clean, and you can scrape the excess back inside of the bowl. You have the thick part on, so you take your 2 fingers patching trowel and you want to push so it's even, and you want to give the same even pressure and just scrape all the way through like that. When you do this, it fills in all of the holes and it keeps everything flat. You can see the holes that are filled in. That's what it's gonna look like. And that's what it'll look like on the ceiling. Remember the nail pop? Yeah, we're gonna fix that. concept is going to be the same everywhere on the ceiling. You want to look for nicks, spots that are dented, and you want to look for imperfections. Some imperfections are going to pop out more than others. And the last thing that you need to remember, when you're done spackling, leave it alone. Don't touch it, don't re-spackle it. If you mess up, you can sand it later, but whatever you do, just do not re-spackle once you spackle. If you have nicks in your ceiling and some of the drywall paper is coming off, the best thing to do is just rip it off, because it's not going to be flat when you spackle if you can't rip it off. You can fill in a hole, but you can't fill in something that's above the hole. As much as people want to make a joke about what I just said, please don't. Don't worry about spackling near your junction box. If there's an air gap around your junction box and the actual drywall itself, that's fine. If there's a nick that's close to the edge, you can get that one. Thick layer first, 2 fingers. 1, 2. I know it's hard to see, but you will be making progress. Bakers will probably have a really good time with this part. Or I guess like frosters will have a good time with this part. Okay, now let's say that you are a boss and that you found all of the little spackling parts on your ceiling and you're done with the spackling. Give yourself a pat on the back, because right now you just finished the hardest part about scraping ceiling. All of it is done now. The only thing that you have to do is just wait. Now the reason why I say you just have to wait is because if you live in a humid environment, like let's say somewhere in the south, your spackle needs time to adjust to the humidity as well. I'm probably going to wait for my spackle for about a week, just so that it really settles in. I'll probably sand whenever it is ready, but as far as painting, I'm definitely gonna wait some time. And that way, the humidity has time to really adjust to my spackle so that it doesn't fall down. And whenever I paint, it's gonna look that much better. The last thing that we need to worry about is the edging / the corners. Now, why worry about this? Well, I can tell you from experience that your ceiling is gonna look that much better if you deal with the corners right now. And this is how you do it. You take your spackle that you have and just use your finger, just like your index finger, something like that. Give it a little goop, and then you just run it along the corner and just smooth out everything. And just running it along the corner, like so. And you'll be able to tell how smooth it is and just go all the way around the room, just like that. One thing I should mention about doing the corners, we're going to be sanding the spackle when it's done drying anyway, so don't worry if you don't get it exactly perfect. We can fix it later. There are tools that you can use that can do this job. I prefer to do it manually. I think it has a more natural look to it, but if you are really particular and you want it like just right, I would suggest looking into getting some tools. You can use any kind of caulking diamonds or caulking tools that you can find at Home Depot. They cost like $2 to buy. Not a plug to Home Depot or Lowe's, I like to use my finger. You can use any kind of tool you want. Now when you're gooping and you're putting goop in the corners, it's kind of like the same concept as spackling. You want to put a lot of goop in the corner, and then you want to push with your finger up on the ceiling close to the corner and just run your finger all the way along. That way it keeps it smooth on that side, and then either on the wall, or in my case the crown molding, you just run your finger along the opposite side and it cleans it up. And let me tell you, in my old place there was one ceiling I did where I didn't do this, and then the very next ceiling I did this. The difference was, I could not describe it. There were no words. It just looked a million times better after I did this as opposed to not doing it at all. The choice really is yours, but this comes out a lot better. Hey guys, thanks for watching my latest video, the next tutorial. If you really liked it, hit the like button. If you triple liked it, hit that subscribe button. I'll be so much better. There will be more content coming soon, there will be more tutorials coming soon, and there will be more adventures from